everybody. Welcome back to the Free Assange Vigil. I am Misty. That is Eric. So
Sorry.
Yo. So we have, we're just going to do a nice, easy, chill show. We have some updates. We have a whole lot of events that are happening that we want to tell you guys about. Make sure we talk about. But before we get into any of the stuff, obviously we need to do numbers. So as of February 22nd of 2022, we have 4,095 days of illegal and arbitrary detention for journalist and publisher Julian Assange, 1,047 days since the WikiLeaks founder was kidnapped and trafficked from the Ecuadorian embassy after being sold to the UK in exchange for a $4.2 billion loan from the IMF, 412 days since Judge Vanessa Baratzer denied Assange bail just 2 days after motioning for his release in her ruling against extradition, 1,643 days of inhumane pretrial detention for alleged Vault 7 whistleblower Joshua Schultz, 1,048 days since the start of the political persecution of Ola Beni, 328 days since drone program whistleblower Daniel Hale pled guilty to one charge under the Espionage Act. It's been 134 days since Hale was transferred to a communications management unit at United States Penitentiary Marion in Illinois, 932 days of confinement for Stephen Donziger, 256 days since hacktivist Commander X was arrested in Mexico and extradited to the United States. And our good news, we have 84 days since Craig Murray was released from prison. We have Craig Murray updates. 253 days since Reality Winner was sent home, was released to home confinement and has been placed on parole. She just got her blue check on the tweeters. 711 days of freedom for Chelsea Manning, 461 days of freedom for Jeremy Hammond, and 48 days we will be having a Julian Assange protest in DC. So you should come through. Okay, so there's the numbers for today. There's a lot more that we could add. Obviously, those are the ones that we've been focused on. So many days. How's it going, Eric?
Good.
Yeah.
Can I start the show off on somewhat of a light note?
Yes.
All right. So I've been thinking about, with everything happening, especially today, and everything ramping up to today with Russia, I'm waiting in high anticipation for what we're going to rename certain foods, since we, changed French fries to freedom fries, things of that nature. So I'm going to throw out some suggestions. You tell me if this sticks at all.
Okay.
And we're going to go in with the theme of the kind of liberal narrative.
Okay.
Right?
So we're going shit libbery. Got it?
Yeah, shit lib. I should have rephrased that. So I'm going to go with, instead of white Russian, I'm going to go with a white they them. And for a black Russian, I'm going to go with a black what would Medicare for all mean for you and your family?
Oh, okay. I think that one's a little wordy.
It's a little wordy.
That's a little wordy.
You could probably shorten that up into some kind of acronym. I'm not going to do the math just right now, but
yeah, kind of like what would Jesus do bracelets? We could
exactly.
What would this mean to your family?
Yeah, what would Medicare for all mean for you and your family?
Oh God. Bernie's out there tweeting today about how, first of all, that Putin is evil and Russia bad, and
right.
Fuck you, imperialists. But also he's out there tweeting about what are we going to tell future generations that we did for climate change? I'm like, you tweet. That's about all you do. I mean, I'm so sick of that, dude. I'm sick of a lot of things today. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little pissed off. I'm a lot pissed off. All of this nonsense surrounding Russia. If you live in the United States of America and you are worried about Vladimir Putin and Russia before you are worried about the United States involvement in NATO and the fact that we are fucking crazy and that we have army bases fucking everywhere and we are occupying countries around the globe daily. And if you're more worried about Vladimir Putin than you are about your own shit, then I cannot anymore. It's not, you don't get to ignore this anymore. I'm sorry. I'm over it. You do not get to ignore that you live in a country that is an absolute bully, just brutal, ruthless across the globe. That we're funding and aiding in a genocide in Yemen. We are funding and aiding in an apartheid and a genocide in Palestine. I mean, seriously, you guys, you do not get to be worried about Vladimir Putin. You do not. I'm over it.
Especially when you compare what you just explained to moving some military personnel and some vehicles on your own border.
Russia moved Russian troops inside of Russia. Dun, dun,
Right.
dun. Meanwhile, we
Right,
have
right.
700 to 1,000 bases across the globe. Probably more than that. There's a whole bunch of
Yeah.
secret. There's black sites and all kinds of shit we got going down where we torture people. But yeah, let's worry about Putin. Shut the fuck up. God, I'm
How
so
many
sick of
ground
it.
troops? How many ground troops do we currently have in how many countries across the globe currently? You know,
Right? And it's like Syria. We're in Syria because we want to take their oil. Donald Trump just said it out loud. We're just going to take their oil. Like this, we're not even shy about it. Like we're not even shy about it. And then we prance around acting like we have some moral superiority about what? Shut up! Oh, I'm sick of it, dude. Just the ability for these people to conveniently ignore the yo. The United States
and
is a billion times worse than Russia.
a billion.
Christ. I
And
mean,
to manufacture the consent, I'm sure you're going to be very surprised by some of the things that I was watching earlier today, both on Fox and CNN. I was flipping back and forth today between the two. Both of their manufacturing consent was, guess what? Oil. Price of oil and how that's going to affect you. And one was using how Biden's Biden's push towards Russia was going to affect your oil prices, and then CNN's whatever it was both just
right.
across the board oil prices, and so it's like this is. I mean, we're just we're back in 2003, except it's Russia instead of Iraq.
We never learn. That's why I'm so annoyed. We never learn. It's not like this is a new playbook. This is the same shit we always do. I honestly though I think that we're like. The empire is not far from failing. I mean, we're living in it right now. I just hope people are ready for that because it's not going to be pretty for anybody. And I mean that globally because, I mean, some places will be fairly unscathed, but an empire as large as the United States failing, that's going to be bad. That's bad.
The fall is going to be a lot harder here.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. But it's like the ripple effect it's going to have. It's going to be painful for a lot of people.
To the rest of the Western world and anyone else who participates in the U.S. dollar and those world banks, they'll feel the effects.
Yeah, it's gonna be bad. I wish people were ready. It doesn't have to be this way. It really didn't have to be this way. It really didn't. It really did not. No. It really did not. Like it's amazing that we don't have enough common sense. There's a whole lot of really smart people. Surely, if I can see it. There are smart people out there who can, get this functioning. We can't behave like grown-ups. We can't, like, we're still blowing people up for profit. Really? In the year 2022, we're still doing that shit. We're still, I mean, can we just try to be nice to each other? Be
and
reasonable,
it's one thing if you're like 20 or 25 and you're like, and you're not completely, like up to speed on what's happened the past.
Well, even some 45-year-olds aren't up to speed. Like, I mean,
well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. People who are closer to our age who are still saying the same things for virtually their entire adult lives. And it's just like, how can you not see past...
There was a whole ass show the other day about how are we going to get these Democratic Party candidates, these progressives elected? And I'm like, are we really still doing this? Are we really?
Yeah.
I mean, it's fascinating to me. It is fascinating to me. And I have to give, like, I don't know. I really am just done. It's one of those weeks where I am just overwhelmed by frustration and anger and resentment. And I don't understand what the fuck is going on and why we keep doing this and why people still keep. And I mean, part of me knows intellectually that it's because a lot of people are propagandized and a lot of people have no idea what's going on. And but it's still, I think it's because when it's very frustrating that other people don't see it, It's really frustrating.
You want to get everyone up to your speed, but you understand too, like kind of like what I was saying, when I was 25 years old, I didn't know this shit. That's why I kind of give them a little bit of a pass. Right. So but the thing is like, if you're closer to our age and you're still thinking like people were 25 years ago, you still have to take like these stupid baby steps and go, okay, so you understand Iraq was bullshit, right? And they'll be like, yeah, or well, maybe whatever. And then you have to start there because you can't leap to where we are You know what I mean? That's a long way for them.
It's just one of those days, you guys. It really is just one of those days. I mean, I'm sure everybody goes through these where you just are like, you're done giving a fuck. Like, I'm just angry at everybody. I'm just
Yeah.
pissed off. Like, there are seriously leftist pundits out there, talking about the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Jesus. I can't. Like going all like Putin needs to be. No, shut up. I'm so sick of the West thinking that Flint still doesn't have clean water. We're talking about Putin. Shut up. Seriously, shut the entire fuck up. Worry about your damn selves. We don't even have our own shit together. We're failing as a country, and we have no business being worried about what Vladimir Putin is doing. None. Zero. Zip. We have no moral authority. We have no place. None. Zero. Stay the fuck out of it and deal with your own bullshit. Joe Biden can't form a comprehensive sentence, and we can't, like, that's our president, and we got our own shit to deal with. Seriously, sorry. I really am just fucking done today. Oh,
well, and I keep going back to, like, 20 years ago or whatever, but wasn't it about 20 years ago when Trey Parker and Matt Stone made Team America World Police, and was satirizing the fact that we're just going around the planet policing the world.
Yeah.
And here we are. It's everything. I like this Glenn Greenwald tweet from earlier today, where he said, criticizing the president is a form of treason and disloyalty, says DNC spokesperson masquerading as an NBC News journalist. It's always 2003. The roles are just reversed. I just think that's a great way to state it. It's always 2003, and it's just whoever is running the show gets to call.
That doesn't end.
Right?
It's so annoying. That's what's so annoying, is that we're in like this weird ass loop, and the target keeps changing, and the administration, but it's all the same imperialistic garbage where we think that we run Earth, that the United States just runs Earth, and everybody else just needs to fall in line. And if you don't follow the line, then we're going to overthrow your democratically elected leader and install a puppet dictator. And we're going to support 73% of the world's dictators, and we're going to arm and we're going to fund them, and we're going to give them the aid that they need to commit genocide. And we're going to do whatever the fuck we want. We're going to, fund an Iron Dome for Israel as they brutalize Palestinians. Yeah, we're going to do all that shit. And then we're going to wag our finger at China when they jail journalists, or at Russia when he decides he's going to, push back a little bit against the bullshit. Right. Like, it's just so stupid that we just keep doing the same goddamn thing over and over again. And it's all just so that a few disgusting, narcissistic, sociopathic cretins can make another $1 billion. That's all it's for. That's it. That is it. Some weapons contractors and some defense manufacturers, they're going to make some money, and it'll trickle down a little bit amongst like the politicians that they buy off and stuff. Like, those people will also be, but that's it. Nobody else benefits from this shit. Nobody.
Do you think this is coming to a head? Are we at a point where this is coming to a head?
I don't know.
I know
it's
I can't
definitely possible. I mean, listen, that's the thing, is that it's so completely unstable. Everything is so completely unstable that it's impossible for me to think that that's not in the realm of possibilities. Of course, that's possible. I don't know. I guess my biggest issue is that I have very little hope in humans, and that's sad. But I mean, just look at the shit that we're continuing to do. Like, and we just keep letting it get worse and worse and worse and worse. And nobody says anything, and nobody does anything. And the people that claim to be fighting against it aren't actually. And you know what I mean? Like, they have us propagandized like you would not believe. They have people who have no idea what's actually happening. They have no idea. And I don't know. I think we have to be at a tipping point. There's so many things boiling. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's
100%.
There's a whole race thing that's kind of bubbling, and then there's the war with Russia that's bubbling, and there's environmental stuff that's bubbling, and there's the assault on free speech, the economy. Like, all of these things are bubbling at the same time, and one of those pots is going to boil over. And I just don't know we'll see. I guess, I mean, be ready for anything.
Yeah.
That's my
And,
advice.
and going back to what you were saying in an earlier episode where it's like, you kind of doubted the preppers back in the day, and now it's like you kind of get it.
And I seriously do apologize for that. I'm not kidding. I feel bad because I made fun of him for years. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you're ridiculous. It's ridiculous. No,
Right.
I'm a little prepper myself now. Like,
oh yeah,
you need to be. I'm
I got
not.
a
I mean,
stash.
yeah, everybody needs to. I mean, I don't think you maybe necessarily have to go nuts. I know that a lot of
No.
people are in like a tight spot financially, and it does take some money to start accumulating the stuff that you need. You know what I mean? But whatever you can do for yourself, start thinking about that. You know what I mean? Just little by little, if you can, or if you can find stuff that you know what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah. And if you
everybody
can't
needs to
protect
be ready.
yourself, have a network of people who will do that part for you.
Yeah, build community for sure.
Yeah.
Build community. Like, go out, talk to your neighbors, make some friends, have each other's backs. Yeah, for sure, because we're gonna I mean, this is very like doom and gloom, but seriously, nobody's coming to help us. Like, we're gonna have to have each other's backs and remember who the real enemy is. Your neighbor
And
is not your enemy.
that's the part that I think really slips through the cracks. If you want to put, just years of movie propaganda as the catalyst for that, or if whatever the thing is that made people think like someone's coming to save me, that message of like no one's coming to save you. You are this is all about you and your family and your friends and your community, whoever it is that's in your circle. That's who's coming to save you. It's you and them, and that's it. Like who do you think is coming to save you? The state? There's no hero. There's no hero in this scenario. This is you and your circle.
Yeah, and I feel bad. Like, I've always been like again, it's just because I'm in a really pissy mood today. But I have those days. I try to contribute to mutual aid as much as humanly possible. But there comes days where I'm just like, fuck it, I can't worry about anybody else now. You know what I mean? Like, I have to worry about my family. I have to worry about my kids. I have to worry about myself, my husband, my mom, my brother. You know what I mean? Like, I have to figure out a way to take care of us. But that's just because I'm in a pissed off mood today. But we do need to have those communities. We do need to have those relationships and make sure that we.
And those days hold value too. Like, you're having a tough go about it, but it also serves a purpose in like understanding where are we at right now? Like you and your family, like, are we in a position where if the lights got turned off tomorrow, or would we be okay?
Yeah. Yes. That's what we need to.
If Russia turns off the power, right? That's my favorite. It's still my favorite.
What would you do if right now, in the middle of winter, Putin turned off the electricity? Oh my God, she was so like emphatic about it. Like, it's very serious. Like, this was a thing that was gonna happen. What would you do? Like, oh God. And she's never gonna lose her platform. She lied to you at the top of her lungs for 5 years about Russia. And she is never going to lose her platform. But facts on the ground, we got suspended for a week because we said some shit that's we dared to speak outside the lines. Agree with us or not, we're allowed to have opinions. But no, YouTube's like,
that's not in today's day and age. That's not allowed, Misty. Come on.
I know. You have to. You can only you just regurgitate received opinions and go along. That's what you do. That's what you do these days. You're not allowed to question anything. You're not allowed to have conversations about anything. You're not allowed to do any of that stuff. Just shut up.
Hey, this is I don't mean to switch gears, but I found
we probably should, because I'm getting really doom and gloom.
Well, this ain't help. This ain't gonna help. I can tell you that right now.
All right.
So I don't know if can I share it, or do I have to send it to you?
No, you can share it, and then I might just have to add it to the thing. I'm not sure. Is it letting you? Didn't you say your share thing was fucked up before for some reason?
We're about to find out here in a moment.
All right. Where's Sleepy Josh when I need him? If it doesn't work, you can just send it to me in the private chat, and then I can share it. But we need to figure out why it isn't working, because that's
okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to send it to you. So I'm going to just put this in our little private chat. Sorry about this, everybody.
We're doing it live, bitches.
We're doing it live. Yeah. And then, so this, I got privy to this a while back, and I forgot about it for a long time. So my ex-wife, her sister is married to someone in the Wisconsin National Guard, and a couple of years ago, they got deployed to the Ukraine to train their troops. And I forgot about it, and then I looked it up, and then sure enough, because I thought it was Minnesota, because I thought they lived in Minnesota, but apparently it's Wisconsin. But so this Wisconsin National Guard unit was in country for 10 months, I believe. I'd have to relook at that.
Yep, 10 months. We can read through it if you want. Do you want me to read it?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so senior Wisconsin National Guard leaders welcomed home the 32nd Infantry Brigade Combat Team Headquarters Company from a 10-month mission in Ukraine, August 21st, in support of the European Defense Initiative.
And I think this was written 2020, right?
Yes. August 21st, 2020. Yeah. So approximately 165 soldiers assigned to the 32nd Red Arrow Brigade. Why can't I say that word? Headquarters unit supported Joint Multinational Training Group Ukraine by providing administrative oversight, logistical support for the multinational forces stationed at the Ukrainian Combat Training Center Yavrov, I'm guessing, and security for advising teams worked with the armed forces of Ukraine. All righty then. Oh,
all wearing their beautiful masks.
Yeah. Y'all.
Yeah, and so there's another article. I think I must have been looking it up on my other computer.
I'm going to drop this in the chat for everybody. Helps if I get
There's another article out there too. And I think it's from...
Hi, everybody in the chat, by the way, since we're paused for a moment.
Yeah.
No, I'm really bad at looking at the chat. So Colby and Krampus are in the chat on the Rockfin. Hey, thanks to the Rockfin for not being censoring pricks. Yay, yeah, right. Rockfin. Yay, Odyssey. Yay, whoever else doesn't censor. Fuck YouTube. I know I'm saying that on YouTube, but I'm annoyed.
But there was another one. I can't find it. I must have opened it up on my other computer.
That's all right.
But there is, and I was trying to look at the photos that accompanied the article, because it was showing the National Guard troops actually training the Ukrainian troops. And I was trying to find, so our friend of the show, Magnus, had posted some stuff on some Twitter, some pics on Twitter showing some of the patches that the Ukrainian troops were wearing that were, basically neo-Nazi
Azov
patches.
Battalion. Yeah, Azov Battalion. Yo,
correct.
Yo.
And I was trying to see if some of those patches were in some of the pictures, and I didn't see them. But I think what I'm going to do, since I used to be National Guard Public Affairs, is phone those guys up, say like, hey, I'm a retired National Guard troop. I used to be in public affairs, and I'm just trying to, I do the show, and I won't mention the name, and just trying to get some insight on what the Wisconsin National Guard troops were doing in Ukraine a couple years ago. Because I want to know if they were involved specifically with that unit that Magnus had posted those pictures of.
Yeah. Oh, hold on. Is that what you're trying to? Oh no, we can take that out, right? That's the other thing.
Yeah.
Why won't it go away? There we go. Okay, so, but yeah, like this. I mean, it's no different than our cops are trained in Israel. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and what were they doing there 2 years ago? That's my question.
Right?
Like did we have this ramp up to a war with Russia 2 years ago? I don't think so. Did we? I mean, was it more in reference to what was happening back in 2014?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I mean, listen, that's what I'm saying. Like this whole thing that we're 2014. Are we really going to try to pretend like that's a thing that didn't happen? We're going to just like gloss right on over the fact that we performed a coup in Ukraine? And really,
Yeah.
we're just, but no, we're worried about Putin. We're worried about Putin. But Putin, fuck off. God, I'm so tired of it, Eric. I really am. I really, really am. Done. Dunzo.
Anthony in the chat reminded me, I posted this earlier today when I was doing my back and forth between CNN and Fox. So the moment that Biden came out to address the press about talks with Russia and Ukraine, guess what time it was? 2:22 p.m. And I was like so stunned that I'm like, get the fuck out of here. They're really gonna like gaslight all like the like gematria and the, I forget what those other people are called, you know, that do all like the number thing, and this ties to this, and if you add this up it means 666 and blah 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 and all this crap.
Yeah.
And I'm like, are we really gonna fuel that fire?
Dude. We're just so dumb. But yes, like the numerology stuff, like that is very, I don't know, like I don't really believe in it, but it is like interesting. Like it's fun to examine. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I know. I get a kick out of it, and like the gematria stuff, which gets really funky, where you start. There's like each letter has a numerical value, and if you add those up, it brings up. It can, you know, it gets really wild, really wild.
Yeah, we should do it. We should do a show on that just for shits and giggles.
There's a guy who does Sam Tripoli's show now and again that goes real in depth with it, and I wonder if I don't know if our friend Steve might be able to hit up Sam and get that guy to come on, because that guy gets really funky.
I would like to talk to Sam Tripoli too. He's really interesting. I like that. Like I'm interested in that stuff. Like there are certain things that I might like kind of roll my eyes at or be like, yeah, okay, whatever. But I think all of it's interesting. Like it's all, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I love conspiracy
there's a lot of
and all that stuff.
I am by no means am I a flat earth guy. But there's some interesting arguments to be heard anyway.
Yeah. I like to hear.
Some of them are like the ones of like these cities that are built over the course of you know, these short periods back in like 1800s, you know, without you know modern day machinery, without power tools, without, you know, dump trucks, without, you know, all this heavy machinery that were, and they're immaculate buildings, and it's just kind of like, how are those built and when? And then like they're showing pictures of like these empty cities, and then one day there's a bunch of people, and then before that there was no one, and there's like, and somehow this ties into flat earth. Don't ask me how. I'm not that guy. But it's they point out stuff like that where you're just like, wait, are they onto something here?
Yeah, Sam, I mean, that's so, it makes you think.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it does make you think. And I mean, also Sam's highly entertaining.
Yes. I love it when someone says something a little out there, and then I don't know if I can do a Sam. I've never tried it, but he just goes, "Oh my
god!" Oh yeah,
he's great. The last time I saw him, I forgot to tell him like, "Hey, I hung out with Steve in DC." I felt like I missed the opportunity to tell him.
Wait. Anthony just said, I just handed a bunch of documents, Nobel Prize nomination, the Thorderson and Yahoo articles about Assange, Gabbard's Assange resolution to Congressman Andy Levin in Michigan. Rockstar. That's some shit right there, Anthony. That's awesome. That's a shit you can do. Go do that shit. Everybody go find somebody, congressperson, whoever. I don't care. And like, I'm gonna get some Nils Melzer books. I'm gonna try to get those to some people. Yeah, we need more of that.
Who's Andy Levin?
Congressman he's a Democrat from Michigan, looks like.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm gonna look him up. I'm not familiar with him. I don't pay attention to electoral politics really at all, other than lamenting the fact that there are still people shepherding folks into a completely corrupted system.
Yeah.
and otherwise intelligent human beings that I like. Like I like Brianna Joy Gray. I do. I like her. I don't maybe necessarily trust her. But I don't trust anybody. So it's really no offense to her, but I like her. I think she's good on Assange. She does some good stuff. I think she's inquisitive. You know what I mean? Like I don't have a problem with her. But hosting like some candidate forum for more progressive Democrats as if that's going to make any fucking bit of difference is frustrating.
What do you make of Tulsi speaking at the CPAC event?
I don't give a shit. I don't trust Tulsi either. Like, I mean,
I don't either, but like, why would you do that?
I think she's probably going to run as a Republican, I would say. I think that, I mean, and it makes sense. I mean, it makes sense. She is a good crossover candidate. I mean, if we're talking about our system, our electoral system, she's perfect. Right. She has cross appeal. She's got the military aspect, which is going to pull conservatives to her. She's got the fact that she was a Bernie Sanders person and that she's a Snowden person. You know what I mean? Like she's got all of these different aspects to herself. And I don't like Tulsi's weird. I don't really understand her. But I mean, I don't give a shit where she talks. If she mentions Assange at CPAC, let's go. Do it, Tulsi. Right. Do it. Right. Do it. Tweet at her. Everybody, go now. Tweet at her and tell her to mention Assange at CPAC. Fuck yes. Yeah. Let's go. Let's use that platform, Tulsi. Let's use that. Shall we?
It's sad that it's come down to that we need Tulsi Gabbard to even just mention Assange at CPAC. Like, that's what it's come down to.
Yeah.
Like,
dude, not a
what kind of bizarre world?
Yeah. Right? If you would have told me, I don't know, 6 to 8 years ago that I was going to hear from Sarah Palin on Julian Assange before Bernie Sanders, I would have laughed directly in your face and called you crazy. And here we fucking are.
Here we are.
Candace Owens
brought up Assange?
Yes.
Jesus Christ, I've been not paying attention to her.
I mean, Cassandra Fairbanks. There's a bunch. Like it's amazing to me. Bernie won't even say his name. Won't even breathe a word of his name. And people will be like, "Oh yeah, but he spoke out about it, dude." A very vague statement that took 44 days from time of arrest to come out with that doesn't even mention Julian Assange by name and is really just Donald Trump shouldn't get to decide who's a journalist. Well, no fucking shit. But how about you come out for the guy who has exposed everything that you claim to be against: environmental crimes, war crimes, imperialism, election rigging, corporate corruption, all of those things Bernie Sanders claims to be about, right? Julian Assange has exposed that, and he won't even say his fucking name. Yeah, gave him everything he needed to contest the 2016 primary. He was never going to do it because he's a fucking coward and a party guy. He is a Democrat. Don't let him tell you otherwise. He is a Democrat. But yeah, like he won't even say his name. That's unforgivable to me. Obviously, I mean, yeah, I get mad when people won't, like just regular people won't talk about it. I get angry. You know what I mean?
And the guys who have been doing their entire career political platform based on everything that Assange stood for, and then, like you said, just won't even say the guy's name.
Yeah. And Ro Khanna can go to hell. Ro Khanna has insinuated that Julian Assange helped Donald Trump and that he was working for the Russians. And so he doesn't get to, this is what pisses me. Listen, I am all about having support from anywhere. If Ro Khanna wants to actively support Julian Assange, that's fine. He doesn't actively support Julian Assange. He does the platitude bullshit. It's a supportive convenience. It helps him, get brownie points or whatever. But and then we include him in like panel conversations when you could have somebody else who genuinely supports Julian Assange and not give Ro Khanna the cover that he's looking for, because that's all he's doing. It's the same thing with Ilhan Omar mentioning Daniel Hale a couple times. She just wants to be able to say, look, see, I support whistleblowers. She's not ever going to actually challenge Daniel Hale's incarceration. She's not ever going to actually call for Joe Biden to pardon him, just like Ro Khanna is never going to do that for Julian Assange. And Ro Khanna will continue to insinuate that Julian Assange is a Russian that helped Donald Trump get elected. He'll still do that.
Ro Khanna was one of the first people that I realized about 3-ish years ago now. There was someone had shown me an article about all of the people in Congress who have investments in either oil or military manufacturers or some of these other horrible stocks and whatnot. And Ro Khanna's family is like heavily invested in oil and weapons manufacturing. And he was for there was a good year or so where people were calling him out for this. And his defense was, this was before I married my wife. As if, and my argument was always like this. All right, let's pretend for a second that that's true, right? Let's say instead of being a politician, you were, let's just say, a dog trainer, and your ex-wife was in dog fighting, right? Like, would you say like, well, this was something that my wife did before we married? It's like, no, if this is something you stand for, you wouldn't marry into that. Like the closest person in your life.
And you would divest yourself out of it immediately. And I don't give a shit that it's your wife's money. You're now attached to that, homie. You don't get a pass. You don't get a pass. You do not get a pass. But he thinks he does. He thinks that's a lot of those people do that. A lot of those people, like Nancy Pelosi, does the insider trading through her husband.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's, and that's because our system is completely corrupt to the core.
I just want to stop paying into Social Security and just have that money go into whatever Nancy Pelosi's investing in that month.
Right? Yes.
I feel like that's a better use of my money.
Yes. I mean, give me some tips, Nance. Come on.
Right.
Come on, Nancy.
There was a fantastic Twitter account that I'm sure got blown up because I haven't seen anything from it for quite a while. That was it was like Nancy Pelosi stock tips or something like that was the name of it.
I don't think.
And it would just constantly go after Pelosi, and I think Twitter finally blew it up.
Probably. I have no doubt. Twitter sucks. Twitter sucks. And dude, I saw somebody tweeted today. I don't even remember what it was about, but I think it was like John Idarolda or whatever his name is, Idarolda or whatever from Young Turks tweeted out something about criticism isn't censorship, and then somebody behind it was like, yeah, and I'm sick of people conflating corporate censorship with governmental censorship. There is no fucking gray space between corporations and our government. Zero. Corporations are your government. Can we come to terms with that, please?
Yeah.
There is no, seriously, the Atlanta Council, you just want to start with Facebook? The Atlanta Council? Really? DARPA? Really? Come on. These are government run operations entirely. There is no gray space.
With World Economic Forum, just go ahead and infiltrating all of their little, their junior, whatever they call them, into every corner of the globe. Governments, Trudeau and God.
Scary, isn't it?
It just speaks so much volumes when Dan Crenshaw is also under World Economic Forum along with Trudeau, along with Tulsi Gabbard, just a boatload of politicians that you wouldn't think would never be associated with each other, and are all members of this wicked organization.
Yeah. Well, they have to be able to like cross contaminate. You know what I mean? They have to be able to send people into different demographics to be able to control that population. You know what I'm saying? I know it sounds crazy, but people think it's like tinfoil hat shit. This is happening. They're not shy about it.
They're not. Go to their websites.
They have books, documentaries, interviews. Yes. They have a whole website. They write articles. They talk about it freely all the time.
Propaganda videos.
Yeah. I mean, come on, y'all. They're not shy about it. They're not at all. And people will still try to pretend like this is a conspiracy theory. Okay.
It was so it's confused me to the highest degree that people were saying that not New World Order. What is it they're calling now? Not Build Back Better. What's the little slogan? The WAF slogan. It's killing
my brain
me.
Went entirely blank.
Yeah. But whatever it is. I thought you had it there on the tip of your tongue.
No, but it's like seriously hurting my brain.
Yeah. So this slogan that is it's basically just rebranded New World Order.
Why
Just
can't I find it?
God, someone in the chat help us. Good Lord.
It's
This
hurting
is
my
embarrassing.
brain. And as
Yeah,
soon as I
right.
hear it, I'm going to be like, oh, it's one of
I
those
know.
things. I don't know
Right.
why the fuck I can't.
The Great Reset. The Great Reset. That's what I was thinking of.
Oh, that's what you were
Is that-
thinking of? Okay.
Yeah. Sorry. So the Great Reset, which
Green nude eel. I don't know why
That's
that
not
made me
bad.
laugh. Sorry.
It's funny. But the Great Reset, like people were saying, like that's a conspiracy theory. It's like the dude literally wrote a book called
The
Great
Great Reset.
It was
His name is
literally on the
Klaus Schwab,
cover
and he's a creepy
of Time
bastard.
magazine.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's
It was literally on the cover
bastard.
of Time magazine.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally their big talking point at all their events is the Great Reset.
They are not shy. They
And I'm
openly
like,
discuss this.
how do you call that a conspiracy theory?
I
Like,
mean, you
it
can
literally
argue
confused the
with
shit out of
me.
me.
You can argue with me their actual influence and power and control and all that. Sure, we can have that conversation. But there's no questioning that this is a thing that they talk about, that they want to do, that they have been trying to do, that they are actively seeking to do. That's not debatable. That's not. We don't get to debate that. That's there's empirical evidence that this is a thing that's happening that they're talking about.
Like, is that how well the
Yes.
the propaganda works,
dude?
Where the thing that they're literally talking about, that they're
we
not
should
shy
really
about.
One day have like a deep ass discussion about just propaganda, because I got things to say, like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it would take like a whole ass show to do it. Maybe several shows. Actually, I want to get Piers Robinson back on Facts on the Ground, because we had him on once. We were kind of like digging into like the basics. What is propaganda? How is it cultivated? How does it work? What all of those things. But I would really like to start like digging into very specific examples and showing people how it actually is levied against them and how it achieves its desired results and how they are able to manufacture reality.
Yeah.
I mean, 100%. Your reality is manufactured by these people.
And then Jade Star in the comments brought up something that I saw that I was just, I mean, it just goes to show that they literally don't want the WEF to be out in the front and center, where it was in the Canadian, I believe it was Canadian Commons, right? House of Commons, where someone had brought up WF and maybe even Klaus Schwab specifically.
Mm-hmm.
And they just were just like, oh, we can't make out. The audio is kind of, we can't make out your question. And it was just like, I heard it loud and clear on this end.
Somebody brought it up on Joe Rogan finally.
Oh,
that's exciting.
Nawaz, yes.
Yeah, that's exciting. Because Rogan's, I mean, he's a meathead, but he's not a dumb guy. Like, I think he'll pick up on it. And I think this is going to be something that he's going to actively seek out more conversations about. Hopefully, one can hope. So,
I don't know how bad my echo chamber is on Twitter.
Probably worse than you think.
Probably way worse than I think. But my honest question is WEF actually starting to gain some traction in people's line of sight now that didn't know about it, say, 3, even 2 months ago?
Maybe. I mean, like the work of Whitney Webb, and you know what I mean? Like a lot of people I think are starting to, like, Whitney is more readily not accessible, but she's more, I see her on more shows now, and I see like her work being discussed on more shows, and I see other people talking about it, and like Slow News Day does a lot of stuff about it. So yeah, I mean, I think that there's more people talking about it, for sure.
And I'm just talking about like normies too, right? Not just.
I think that like normies now have heard it. I think before nobody had ever really heard World Economic Forum. Right. You know what I mean? Like that wasn't a thing but I think now people at least recognize what that is. And I think a lot of people have heard of the Great Reset. A lot of people have heard about Build Back Better. And a lot of people understand that it's a thing that, has been recited in country after country after country. This is a slogan that is used globally. Yeah, it's the public-private partnership. I mean, Ian Davis talks about that, the G3P, the Global Public-Private Partnership. And
I think, I'm not entirely sure, but I want to say I'm like 90% sure that I first heard about it through Whitney Webb. That's basically where I heard most of just about anything that's going on. I heard first from Whitney Webb. So, kudos to her, obviously.
Yes.
But
she's one of those amazing people too, who just has like this fantastic fucking recall. Remembers everything.
I don't get it. I honestly don't get it. Like, I can barely remember shit.
I struggle with
How
names
many
of
times
like
have we
things
brain farted on this show today? Right?
like I like the names of things I know, sometimes I'll stumble over it, I'll say the wrong
Yeah.
thing, or like one thing I do a lot, I don't know if anybody else does this, but I'll superimpose things that sound similar. So if I'm thinking of one thing, you know what I mean, it's actually, I do that a lot. I do that
Yes.
a lot. It's really
100%.
annoying.
Yeah.
Sorry,
And
that's
then
my
you'll
neuroses.
rewatch something that you recorded and you're like, motherfucker.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
No,
Although I don't
people
ever
think I
you rewatch it. I don't rewatch stuff. I can't.
sometimes.
Do you
Like
edit
if
your
I
vid? Because
if
I don't edit anything.
I don't edit.
And that's why I don't edit anything,
Yeah.
because I can't watch myself. I've had to do it a
I
few
do
times because people have requested clips. Like when I had Fee
sure.
and Sky on Bitch, everybody's like, "Oh my god, you have to clip this up." And so like I made an exception and I watched myself to make clips. But it was really not even watching myself. It was like scooting through to find like the funny parts where like Sky said,
Covering this
there's
eye
no
while you're
Medicare
trying
for all in the gulag, bitches." It's like, that was
That's a
such a
good
good
line.
quote. I had to go back and clip that. Like, you
That's
have
a
to go
great
back and
line.
clip that out. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, I'll only rewatch if I'm like, I think I did something, and I just wanted to like double check to see if I was right about something or not, and if I
Yeah.
was looking like an idiot. And like, so I just started
forget
doing
what
my own
happens.
show.
Yeah.
Oh, I forget 90% of what I say. And I was rewatching like the first show I recorded for my solo show that I do, and I was like, because I really wanted to see like, did I seem connected with this guy? Did it seem, you know what I mean? Like just
Yeah.
trying to critique myself to see if I'm kind of up to snuff on that. But no, otherwise, no, I don't rewatch myself. That's narcissistic for me.
And if anybody wants to clip out my shows, that would be great, because people request clips all the time, and I can't. I'm sorry, but if anybody wants to do it, go for it. Find whatever you want to clip. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
I
that would
don't
be
care.
cool.
I'm really bad at all of this. Like, I don't want to make clips. I don't like, I'll show up and do the show, but I don't want to do any of the other work.
Sleepy sent me some links to show how to do that, and maybe I'll get around to it someday.
Yeah, Sleepy's very helpful.
Yeah.
He talks me through a lot because I don't know how to do that. But like, I just don't. I can't. I mean, maybe if I had somebody here, like, Sleepy, come to Ohio, motherfucker, come to Ohio.
Well, he should.
I'm trying to convince him to move here.
Well, we had that off camera discussion about cost of living in California and cost of living in Ohio, and I was just kind of a no-brainer, dude. If nothing else was holding you back, you know,
come to the dark side. It sucks here. I mean, in a lot of ways, but honestly, I give Ohio shit. But honestly, I do love it. Like, there is a lot of really great parts about living in Ohio. It is super fucking cheap to live here. You can buy I've been telling Sleepy Josh, I was looking the other day because like that's one of my weird habits or hobbies is I like to look through real estate. I'm not in the market for a house, but I like to look at houses. I've been doing it since I was a kid. And so I will go and look, and I just found like this super cute little I think it was 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom house with like a decent sized lot in a decent neighborhood. I mean, I didn't go to the house. I didn't do an inspection. There may be something wrong with it, but it was like $80,000. And I'm like,
that doesn't even compute to me. And I don't even live in California.
And that's a regular thing here in Ohio.
Yeah.
Like, you can find really decent houses and decent neighborhoods.
Right.
I mean, for fairly reasonable pricing.
See, because I'm a little different than you. Like, you say you talk shit about Ohio, but you actually love it. I talk shit about Minnesota, and I hate living here.
Yeah.
So
I do kind of hate like the weather. I hate Ohio weather. I hate it. Listen, there are a lot of things wrong with Ohio. Lots of things to bitch about. But I mean, I do have a love-hate relationship with Ohio for sure.
Yeah.
So, but it is really cheap. That's why I'm trying to convince Sleepy to come here, because he could get so much. I don't think he even realizes he could get so much for like a really inexpensive price. And in a decent neighborhood. Seriously, you could get I'm not saying it's the cheapest, but I'd say it's one of. It has to be
damn near. I mean, especially like what else even compares to it? Like West Virginia? Like
I'm sure like other Midwestern, like Indiana's probably fairly cheap. West Virginia, Kentucky, I'm sure maybe. I think there's probably a lot of other, I don't know. I've never really looked, but I can tell you that just from personal experience, it is really fucking cheap to live here.
That is dirt cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Anyway, yeah,
yeah.
no, so if I can do just a tiny bit, are we getting close to the end here? I didn't know if you were going to do an
No, I need
hour
to
or
do some
what.
Craig Murray stuff. You want me to go ahead and shoot through some of this stuff?
Yeah, go, and then I'll just do some shameless self-promotion stuff.
Okay. Well, yeah, we'll save that for the end. Okay.
Okay.
So, just a few things that I wanted to get you guys updated on. So tomorrow, Craig Murray has a very important court date. So let me share the tweet that he posted, and then we'll also go through. He put up a new blog post. So he tweeted this out earlier today, I guess. So I am extremely pleased to say that we have, in just under 24 hours, received half of the 80,000 pounds we need for tomorrow's appeal hearing. Thank you to so many wonderful, kind, and freedom-loving people. So that's amazing. You guys know how much I love it when we fund these people and when we back these people up. People like Craig Murray, people like Chelsea Manning, people like Daniel Hale. It seriously gives me life. I like to live stream that or live tweet that shit and be like, look how much we raised already. It's fun for me. I like it. Okay, so, but here's the bad news. Appeal against imprisonment for journalism, Wednesday, 23rd of February. And again, this came out yesterday. This blog post came out yesterday. I will never get back the 4 months of my life I spent locked at least 22 and a half hours a day in a 12-foot by 8-foot cell. I have nothing personally to gain from carrying on the legal fight. I was a civil prisoner and do not have a criminal record. But the legal distinction made by Lady Dorian's judgment between quote unquote new media and quote unquote mainstream media in terms of their liability to prosecution and to imprisonment has to be fought, because coming from a 3-judge bench of the High Court in Edinburgh, it is a citable precedent throughout many English-speaking jurisdictions and is directly contrary to ECHR rulings. And that's the European Court of Human Rights, I think, if I remember right. On Wednesday, we appealed to the Noble Officium, the Scottish Appeal Court of 5 High Court judges, where Lord President Carloway will hear the appeal. In pursuant of my commitment to open justice and to giving readers original sources so they can make up their own mind, I had intended to publish our submissions to the court here, but the legal team informs me I cannot in law do this until the court starts its hearing. So watch this website on Wednesday. Hold on. Sorry. Random text message. Okay. However, what I can tell you is that a common theme emerges from the various points of appeal: the arbitrariness of Lady Dorian's proceedings. Consider these points all part of my appeal. Number 1, neither the Crown nor the court ever suggested in the proceedings or papers a distinction between quote unquote mainstream media or quote unquote new media. It was never put to us, so we could never argue against it. Lady Dorian simply formed it in her head and then set it in stone. Had the distinction been put to us at the trial, we would have wished to bring forward expert witnesses to refute Lady Dorian's dicta that quote unquote mainstream media is more ethical than quote unquote new media. To introduce the distinction into law is deeply worrying. To do so without hearing arguments is extraordinary. I agree with that 100%. They're essentially looking to differentiate between mainstream media and what they're calling new media, which is independent journalism, essentially, and give more credence and credibility and ethics to mainstream media, which cracks my shit up. The majority of the jigsaw clues. Okay, so maybe I should stop for 1 second. So Craig Murray, what he was arrested for is called jigsaw identification. And essentially what that is that if you publish something that can be used on its own or in conjunction with other pieces of information that you have gotten from wherever, it doesn't have to be from you, or it could be from any other various sources. If you're able to use any of the information published by you that can be used to identify somebody, then you can go to jail. So you have to be mindful of and aware of literally every piece of media that's out there, so that you don't publish something in conjunction with that could lead to the identification of a witness or something. It's crazy, and it's very vague. Jeez. So that's what jigsaw identification is. That's what he was arrested for. Okay, so the majority of the jigsaw clues to identification found in Lady Dorian's judgment were never in the accusation against me, so we had no opportunity to refute them in court. The Crown identified in its petition a number of phrases they claimed could be identifying, and we argued in submissions and in my affidavits that this was not so. But Lady Dorian, in her judgment, came up with a number of new phrases she stated were identifying, but which proposition had never been put to me in proceedings, and I had no idea were claimed to be identifying until the judgment. So they just basically changed everything in their judgment, and didn't give him a chance to refute any of them. Lady Dorian entirely discounted my affidavits as untruthful without ever putting that to me to give me a chance to respond. I submitted 2 detailed affidavits on oath setting out that it had never been my intention to disclose identities. I stated the steps I had taken to ensure that I did not do so, and how my precaution was greater than that of the mainstream media. My counsel informed the court that I was prepared to answer any questions on my affidavits, either from the Crown or from the court. Both Crown and court declined to question me. The normal presumption is that if evidence is not challenged in court, it is accepted. To dismiss my affidavits with no cross-examination is extraordinary. Lady Dorian had based her substantial prison sentence on her judgment that I had, quote unquote, relished giving clues to identity. This had not been alleged by the Crown. The court had heard no evidence from anybody to this effect, and it was directly contrary to my own unchallenged evidence on oath. Number 5, it is impossible for the journalist to know exactly where the line lies for, quote unquote, jigsaw identification. My article of 11 March, for example, consisted entirely of material gleaned from mainstream media, as I was not in court nor yet heard my own sources in court on that day, yet I was found in contempt for publishing nothing but what the mainstream media had already published. This is all remarkably arbitrary in the most literal sense. There are points of process. The more fundamental point is that I, as a journalist, had access to both written and eyewitness evidence that led me to believe that the current First Minister of Scotland was orchestrating a plot to frame the former First Minister of Scotland on entirely false charges, a belief of which I am now quite certain. This was a matter of the highest possible public interest, leading to an overwhelming Article 10 ECHR right to publish. I realized that right was in conflict with the Article 8 right of the accusers to the privacy ordered by the court, and I did my best to balance the two, even when I was publishing articles on the plot for 8 months before there was a court order in place protecting identities. However, Lady Dorian gave no weight whatsoever to the Article 10 freedom of speech side of this equation. This was worsened by the fact that the Crown held the documents which I had seen, which convinced me of the plot against Salmon, many of which are still not public, and the court refused my application for their disclosure so I could assert the reasonable grounds for my belief in the plot against Salmon. The current situation is that Wednesday's appeal will be held with no public gallery and no streaming or dial-in access. I have asked my legal team to object to this and will keep you posted. I am frankly furious that the public will be kept away from the hearing. I am too. This is bullshit. I am afraid that I am going to have to renew my appeal for funds to help with the legal costs. Fighting these kinds of actions is simply crippling. Your dedication to freedom and your support have so far saved me from personal bankruptcy, but we now need to raise a further £80,000 immediately. There's a link to donate here. I'm going to toss this into the chats for everybody. If you are financially able to throw a few bucks Craig Murray's way, I have no doubt that he would. What the fuck is happening? That he would appreciate that greatly. And it really does make me happy when we come together. And why is that happening? Okay, there we go. Yeah, so we need to back these people up. Seriously. Nothing makes me happier.
There was a part in that article where he said, like, now I'm certain of it. Was he certain of it because of just everything that's happened to him as a result of
no, I think that that case that he was covering, that's all kind of come
to a head.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's significant evidence that he was absolutely correct in his assessment. But that's another thing that he can't really talk about too much. I mean, this.
I think the link that you put out there was the one that I gave you.
That's what it was. I don't know why it's doing that.
I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah, that was the one that I gave you.
I don't know why it's doing this. Here, I'll just click out and then I'll click back in and see if that works. There we go. Okay,
but
so
my other takeaway from that was, there's that one that's not going to be public, that hearing, right? There's obviously, Assange's trial is not public. The Ghislaine Maxwell trial was not on public.
Yeah.
All these like incredibly important court cases are not public. But we'll have OJ broadcasted for 10 months or whatever.
Yeah.
And all these other pointless trials, right? You can go down the list like Casey Anthony and fucking.
Hey, I'm a true crime nerd. Zip it.
But you know
No,
what
I
I'm
get it.
getting at, though,
They are
right?
distractions. They're 100% distractions. And these, especially these kinds of cases, because what happens in this courtroom will directly impact all of us.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me. Like in the United States, we don't allow cameras in federal courtrooms. Fuck that shit. That's where some of the most important stuff goes down. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, it's crazy to me that we hide that. I mean, especially,
How is that not censorship? Honestly, how is that not
it
censorship?
is. But I mean, and listen, I realize that I'm biased. I do. I mean, but I honestly think my assessment is also correct here. That what is happening to Julian Assange, that should be broadcast into everybody's fucking living room. Are you joking?
100%. Yeah.
This is unbelievable what is happening. They are completely destroying, dismantling a ginormous aspect
Freedoms.
of, I mean, Christ on a cracker, you guys. This is
Yeah.
not a joke. Like, what's happening is not a fucking joke. This is going to set a huge historical precedent. This is a historic court case on press freedom. No question. This changes journalism. It already has changed journalism, maybe irreparably, but this changes journalism forever. I don't know how we come back from this. And the fact that nobody, we're the only thing that we have is like the desperate live tweeting from journalists who are watching
Right.
via video feed.
Right.
It's absurd what is happening. It really is.
And then how many times are those journalists being censored?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Or shadow banned, or whatever kind of similar-ish thing to censorship.
Oh, dude, if you talk about Julian Assange, you are shadow banned.
Right.
No question about it. You will be destroyed algorithmically. You will be like, it's hard. Like, I can tell you just from personal experience, this show hugely shadow banned on YouTube. Massive shadow. Like, it's really difficult. I mean, Assange is in the title. I can tell you from my Twitter, my Assange tweets get way less views, engagement, all of that stuff. Really? I mean, I don't think so. That's not realistic. So
I feel like that's like half the reason why you have a Twitter account, or why you have followers. You know what I mean?
Because I tweet about Assange.
Yeah.
A lot of people. Yes, I think a lot of people follow me. I mean, that's I do talk about it a lot. So I mean, I guess that would be, if you're interested in what's happening, that would be a good resource. Somebody who's obsessive.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I'm nothing if not painfully self-aware.
That's why anybody follows anyone, because they're good at what?
You're interested in whatever it is that they're about.
Yeah, exactly.
And obviously, it's clear I don't talk about anything else ever. Ever. I literally only talk about Julian Assange. Oh, those people make me laugh too. I mean, listen, I realize I talk about Julian Assange a lot. I am nothing if not painfully self-aware. Seriously, it's painful, painfully self-aware. That's real talk. But isn't that? I mean, don't these people understand how activism works? Somebody's passionate enough about something to fight for it, to like organize and take time out of their. That's what you want, right? Like that to me, that seems weird.
Any of
to
these
be mad at somebody.
Figures, not that I'm comparing Misty to some of these historical figures, but I'm just using this as an example, right? So everyone hit the brakes on.
I'm freaking out and canceling you.
But like, if any of these like historical figures during the civil rights movement,
the women's liberation movement,
all the anti-Vietnam stuff.
Yes.
What was the name? Ron Kovic? Wasn't that the big Vietnam vet?
I'm terrible at names.
It was what they based the movie for, Born on the 4th of July.
Okay.
Was this guy Ron Kovic, and he was shot in Vietnam. He was paralyzed. He became this big anti-Vietnam activist. I guarantee his Twitter feed, if Twitter existed in the 70s, would be littered with anti-Vietnam shit.
Don't you want your activists to be passionate about the thing that they're fighting? Seriously, don't you want like water protectors? I want my water protectors to be fucking passionate about clean water. Absolutely. I want, like, if you're gonna be, that's what you should be doing. It's weird, but it seems like they only get mad at me, and maybe I'm just missing other people getting slammed for that. But like, it seems like they only ever get mad at me for talking about Julian Assange, and it's like they're deeply offended that I talk about Julian Assange so much. Like, what is? I don't under it. Really, what it is, Eric. Here's what it really is. They just don't like me. And so it's
Right.
like they're just looking for any method of attack, I think. And that's fine, you guys. You don't have to like me. Like I'm not for everybody. I'm a grown up. I recognize that. Like we're not. None of us is for everybody, right? Like there's gonna be people who like me. There's gonna be people who don't. I don't like myself sometimes. I get it.
I don't either.
But yeah, I don't owe you anything. You don't get to police what I talk about. You don't get to lie about what I talk about or don't talk about. Like there are people who like pretend that I never talk about Yemen. Y'all, I helped organize Opti Sanitize a couple years ago. Like we did like a whole social media campaign looking to call more attention to Yemen. I talk about Yemen on a fairly regular basis. I've covered Yemen. I tweet about Yemen. I bring Yemen up all the time. So to say that I never talk about Yemen, and then one guy even like said, "Why do you hate Yemeni people?" What? Like you don't get to
Based
just
on what?
make shit up. You don't get to make shit up. That's my problem. You just don't get to make shit up. There are plenty of things that I don't talk about. I'm one person. There's a lot of shit wrong. I don't have time to talk about all of it. But to try to pretend like I don't talk about Yemen is just categorically false. It's demonstrably untrue. And it's telling that you have to just make shit up. And yes, Lucky, they should buy a plant, a whole ass garden, in fact.
Yeah.
Stop worrying. Like, this is what frustrates me. Stop worrying about what I'm talking about. If there's a cause that you think isn't getting enough attention, and there are lots of them, go talk about it. Stop focusing on like what I talk about or don't talk. Like, go do the thing that you think needs more attention. Go organize. Go talk about it. Go. I don't
Yeah.
understand why are you wasting time worried about what I'm doing? Seriously, it's annoying. I'm just some chick in Ohio, y'all. Like, it's really weird.
And I feel like I don't do enough sometimes too, because then
I
I see
always
people
feel that way.
who are doing
Every
way more than I am. Like Rome is like a perfect example of that, right?
Yeah.
Where he's just like literally traveling the country and giving free shit away to people who need it.
Yeah.
And
people find a way to be mad about that.
And they get mad at him. Like that's like
Really?
how more of a human can you be?
And these are people who proclaim to be leftist, socialist, communist. Some of them pretend to be communist. Some of them pretend like they preach about mutual aid. They have Black Lives Matter in their bios and all this shit. Yeah. And then they're mad at Rome for, I mean,
unbelievable.
And these are seriously, they're always the people who, they don't organize. They don't do anything.
No.
They don't challenge power in any way. They don't do anything. And
no, they're keyboard warriors. I'm sorry to use like a fucking dated term, but that's exactly what they are.
That's exactly what they are. And it's
so
I just don't understand the focus on me. Seriously. Like, I don't even have like a huge following. I don't have giant YouTube channels. Come on. It's just silly. I just don't understand it. Again, buy a plant, motherfuckers. Get a plant. I'll buy you one. In fact, I'll get you a plant.
Let's do a fund for buying all your trolls plants.
We're gonna need a lot of money.
not no measly $5,000. That's gonna be more like 50 grand.
Although I will say, I feel like, and maybe it's probably just because I've muted them all, but I don't feel like I have as many trolls these days. But I have muted a lot of people, so that's probably what it is. Probably why. Muting people is happiness. It is happiness.
It really is.
Because these people are such time sucks. They offer nothing of substance. Their goal is to distract you. And every time, I will say, if any of my trolls are watching, and I'm sure at least one of them is, every time you bitch about the fact that I talk about Julian Assange, I guarantee you I'm about to follow that up with at least 10 tweets about Julian Assange. Just to spite you. It's a game I play with myself. Every time I see it, I'm coming at you with at least 10 Julian Assange tweets. Back to motherfucking back. Bring that shit on. I'm a spiteful bitch, and I will come for you. Like, I will flood your timeline with Julian Assange stuff. Seriously. All you do is motivate me to tweet about it even more, because I don't think that people
truly understand that, like, that mentality that you have, that like the trolling is only going to make you stronger and whatever.
All they do is help me. Seriously, they look like fools. They lie. Like, they don't even. There's plenty of things to criticize me on, and they criticize me on shit that isn't true. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they make shit up that is demonstrably it's not true. I have receipts. Look at this. Look at this. And they're so dumb. They just keep walking into, like, it's silly. Just stop. Focus on somebody important. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Jesus. There's a whole ass Congress full of people who are actively harming your neighbors and you and your family, and you're worried about what I tweet. You're a joke. Silliness.
No kidding.
Silliness. Guys, I said I'm nothing if not painfully self-aware. I am nobody. I'm nobody. I'm just, again, just some chick in Ohio. I have a webcam. I have some cool friends. I like to talk to people that are smarter than me about things I care about. That's all I do. I'm not powerful in any way. I'm never going to be. I don't have any desire to be. I'm not doing this for money. That's another thing that I love, is that I'm some kind of grifter. I don't make money, you guys. Never have. Ever. Sorry. I told you I'm fired up today. I'm really just pissed off at everybody.
I'm just waiting for like it to like simmer just a touch, and then I'm just gonna shamelessly plug my shitty show that
I could ramble. I could rant forever. So just go ahead. And I'll shut up now.
No. I had a great conversation with someone today that I've been talking with for a long time. She wrote a book about her experience being a conscientious objector to the Iraq War. She had signed up for the National Guard pre 9/11. Obviously 9/11 happens, then they're sending people out to Iraq, and she's like, what the fuck is this all this shit all about? Fantastic book. She wrote it in like a novel, basically. Her story, her experience in dealing with that for a good year and a half, being a conscientious objector. Her name is Rosa Del Duca. I sent you in the private chat the link to my YouTube channel. So I'm I'm only 6 episodes into this, and I'm already starting to like rebrand myself. And it's going to be a little bit more heavy centric on anti-war veterans, veteran mistreatment.
Get Danny Scherzen on, please. I love Danny Scherzen. I need to get Danny Scherzen on.
Let's do that before I start getting too greedy with my guests here, because I did have a conversation with him a while back, because I was trying to do this other show for a while, and I did have some email chatter back and forth, and then he got me in touch with someone at About Face. Do you know that organization at all?
Yeah.
And then About Face did some stuff that I wasn't too keen on. They were getting they put some advertising dollars in the New York Times. And I was like, I want to pull my money out of this group because I'm not on board for that.
Yeah. And David McBride. Good call, Karen. David McBride. Yeah. We need to get David McBride on your show.
Yeah. So I had my first guest was this great guy. He's a comedian, but he was also in the Air National Guard, and we did talk some military stuff after a while. I will have him back on later because we only scratched the surface on the military stuff. But Rosa Del Duca, my one that I did today, that I just published today, go check that one out. She's a fantastic listen to, and buy her book. And I put her information in the description on that one, so she can sell more books. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll buy a book. So. I honestly, I have too many books.
Yeah, so do I.
I have like a stack of books that I haven't even read yet.
A whole shelf of books I haven't read yet.
Yeah. So, oh, hey, Kitty. Who are you? Which one are you? Jack. Hi. Okay, so before we wrap up, what do I have? Oh, events. There's lots of events going on. Okay, yes. So hold on. Hold, please. So on the 25th, I think. Hold on. Let me make sure that's right. I'm pretty sure. Oh, nope. What is happening? I don't think this is right. Oh, there we go. So on, I was right. February 25th, the Marsh Tribunal is happening. There is a whole shit ton of speakers that are going to be at the Marsh Tribunal. So here are a few: Alice Walker, Chris Hedges, Claire Daly, Cornel West. Let's see, Jody Dean, Margaret Kunstler, Nancy Hollander, Roger Waters, Stephen Donziger. A bunch of really cool people are going to be speaking. There's going to be victims of Guantanamo Bay who are going to be speaking and telling their stories for the first time. It is basically just an attempt to, it's performative, obviously, but it's a performative way to hold those accountable for the shit that they do. So it's journalists, diplomats, and lawyers will testify to the crimes at Guantanamo Bay, defend whistleblowers, and seek justice for the victims. So that's going to be awesome. I will drop the link in the chats. There's a website where you can go and like sign up or whatever, register, I guess, like a normal online event. But it should be pretty good. There are some people who are going to be there I don't feel should be there, and there are some people who are not there that I feel should be there. But I'm always going to have criticisms in that way. And then what else? Oh, okay. So then also on the 27th, hold on, let me pull up Randy. So Randy Credico is hosting another stand up for Assange. And that is going to be on, I'm pretty sure the 27th, but hold so I don't fuck it up. Yeah, February 27th at 6:30. It's at hold on, let me find the flyer. Christ on a cracker, you guys. So many tweets, Randy. Here we go. So it looks like it is at the Tabard Inn in DC. There is a website you can go to. I don't know if there are any tickets still available, but you can go to assangecountdown@gmail.com. I'll drop this information in the chats as well, so you guys can go and get tickets for that if you're in the DC area. I wish I could be there. And then on the 28th, hold on, let me drop these in the chat. Okay. And then let me go to Paula's Twitter, because Assange Defense is hosting an event outside the Department of Justice on the 28th, which is the day after the Stand Up for Julian or Stand Up for Assange thing. And I'm sure she's got here we go. So this is being hosted by looks like Code Pink's going to be there. No Fear Coalition, Assange Defense, Assange Boston, the Boston crew. And there's going to be a bunch of different speakers: Angela Richter, Randy Credico, Margaret Kunstler, a whole bunch of people. And this is more for, let me share this so you guys can see all the details. This is more for political prisoners in general. So as you can see, there's Mumia Julian and Leonard Peltier. So this is going to be February 28th at noon outside the Department of Justice. If you are in the DC area, please try to make it out to this as well. And yeah, I wish I could go. God damn it. I wish I could go. I would have to do a boomerang trip, and I don't know. My husband's going to be out of town. Fuck. I want to go. I want to go.
Doesn't sound like it.
I want to go. I really want to go. My kids have school though, and I have to be a mom. Okay.
They can make mac and cheese for themselves, put themselves to bed.
Just take care of yourself for the next 36 hours, would you? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally, of course, we have in April coming up. I do not have an official flyer for the Assange stuff because Bean, our good friend Bean, is going to make our graphics and stuff for our Assange protest April 11th. So I'm really excited. I've kind of left it to them to decide. I think the theme is going to be truth is freedom. So we're going to be at the Department of Justice and perhaps at the British Embassy. We're going to try to do a dual protest on April 11th, probably one from 10 to noon and then one from 2 to 4, whichever one happens to fall wherever. I've already reached out to a lot of really cool potential speakers, and I don't want to say anything yet because it is a little early out. And I have some tentative yeses, but I don't want to commit anybody to it until we get a little bit closer and they can establish their scheduling for sure. Because these are people who are very busy. So hopefully we get a lot of really cool people. If you guys can come, please come. Please come. Please come. Please come.
We need to talk.
Meet you.
We need to talk offline to line up how I'm getting out there because
Yeah.
All I have to do is just line up some care stuff for my kid, and I'm there.
Cool. I'm going to get into town, I think, April 8th. That gives us some time to get into the Airbnb, get set up, get stations set up. You know how it is. There's going to be some shirt making going on over there, some button making going on over there. There's going to be probably somebody shooting a live stream over there. Like it's going to be chaos. So I think I get into town on the 8th, and then I think I'll probably stay because we're going to do the 2 to 4 action. I don't want to drive. It's 6.5 hours. So even if I left right at 4, I would still not get home till like 10:30. So I'll probably just stay that night. But yeah, it's going to be fun. Please come out. Please come out. Please come out. If you cannot make it to DC, I totally understand. Please organize something in your area, in your town. I will help you. We will help you. We will, whatever you need. If you need help getting permits or thinking up signs, like things to write on signs, or getting information, or finding other people to organize with, whatever help you need. Seriously, I'm happy to do it. Happy, thrilled to do it. Just hit me up. We will do whatever we can. So organize in your area if you cannot make it to DC, but please come to DC if you can. It's going to be fun. It is going to be fun. It's very, I keep saying it, it's very therapeutic to stand outside the Department of Justice and tell them to fuck off through a megaphone. It feels good, dude. It really does. So please come. It's worth it. And then, okay. I'm not going to tell you all the shit that I have going on because it's a lot of shit and I don't want to talk about it. So just follow me on Twitter. How about that?
I think that's fair.
That. Yeah, I hate, honestly, I have too many shows.
You do.
And there's too much.
You have too many shows because I invited you on, you agreed, and then we both forgot about it.
Did I not respond? Oh, I'm really bad about that. Sometimes you need to nudge me because seriously, I do this all the time. In my head, I think I responded or like I pondered my response. And so then, and then I forget and I completely.
I don't hold it against you. You got way too much shit going on.
I do have a lot of shit going on.
Yeah.
I was on Jesse's. So Jesse Zerowell has a new radio show on TNT Radio. And I was on there today and it was like forever. For him to introduce me because he literally said all of my things. She's the host of the Action for Assange Vigils. She's the host of Bitch with Comrade Misty. She's the co-host of Free the Truth. She also hosts Fracks the Ground with me. And I'm like, that's a lot. That's a lot. I need to slow it down. That is a lot. Okay, so yeah, just follow me on Twitter. I'm there all the time. So, and sometimes I do actually remember to tweet about my stuff. Sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes. Oh, and on Free the Truth this week, I should tell you about this one though. Tara Reid's going to come on.
Nice.
Don't miss it. Tara Reid, Free the Truth, 4 p.m. Eastern. I'm excited. I always love talking to her. She's great. So yeah. I feel like I'm forgetting an action or something that's happening, and I feel bad about that. But I hope I remembered everybody's stuff. Oh. Yeah, I don't know. So
I'm sure I forgot about something too. So
I'm positive. I'm not worried about my stuff. There was a lot of actions coming up, like the Marsh Tribunal, the Free All Political Prisoners, the Stand Up for Julian. I got ours in DC. Feel like I'm forgetting one though. Oh, I think the London crew is going to be outside Belmarsh, maybe with Free Assange lighters.
Oh, okay, maybe that's different.
But that's Saturday. This Saturday. I don't know. I need to be better organized. Every time I see an action, I need to bookmark it because there's a lot and I keep forgetting them. And I'm sorry, you guys. I'm trying to hype everybody's stuff. Sometimes I forget. Okay, so I think that's all we have for you guys. We will be back on Friday. Well, I'll be back on Friday. Eric has a previous engagement. So I'll be here. I don't know who's co-hosting. I don't know who my guest is. Flying by the seat of my pants as usual. But we will be going live Friday because I will definitely want to do an update on what happened in Craig Murray's appeal. So we will be going live Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern. So yeah, come see us then. And I guess we'll just talk to everybody later. Thanks everybody in the chat. We love you. We love you. Thanks, guys.